Hi, you guys. So, some pretty profound messages about what's going on with Mother Earth right now came through from my guides, and I really want to share what this is and what's getting ready to happen. So, tune in, let's dive in and see what this is all about.
Do you feel the light? Do you feel the light? Do you feel the light coming? Do you feel the light? Do you feel the light? Do you feel the light coming? Do you feel the light? Do you feel the light? Do you feel the light?
Okay, so first and foremost, it feels like Mother Earth is just like fed up. She's like, I'm done with this. I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to step into this next level of consciousness. Since we inhabit Mother Earth, you know, she's a soul. She has her own journey and her own ascension process that she's on. She's going to feel into all of the energies that are inhabiting her. She's going to see what's going on. And it feels like things that are happening on the earth right now, she's like, I'm done with this. I'm done being connected to this energy and this consciousness. And she's getting ready to shed another layer. Now, this doesn't mean that we're like jumping dimensions again. It may be considered like what you would call timelines, or we're shifting. But basically what's happening is she's ready to move up. And she's kind of like, I'm running the ship here. So we're kind of acclimating to the energy that she's moving through. And this really puts us at choice points. We get to decide, do we want to go with her and the true earth? Or do we want to stay in the consciousness that we're at and like play in this a little bit more, and maybe we step up later, or that's where we stay? So usually these choice points feel like super intense, like something in your life starts getting really intense and it's like, I got to pay attention to it. I got to do something about this. I'm going to make a different choice here than what I've been making in the past. Or I'm going to decide to stay in this and see if maybe something else happens. Maybe it'll just magically change itself, which we all know that those situations usually don't. We have to make a choice for ourselves that's going to serve our highest good and our true self. So the earth is getting ready to shed a layer. So I want to show you what this actually looks like. Okay. All right. So here we have Earth. Hopefully you can all see this. This is where we have Earth. And she's solid. This is true Earth. This is like where she's stepping into. Okay? And she's been feeling like, I don't want this other layer. And it's like this layer that she just wants to shed. And it's kind of like she's pulling herself out of it. And this layer will kind of drop off and it will come over here. Kind of like a snake. Not kind of, almost exactly like a snake. They shed their skin for whatever reason. And if you ever find a snake skin, you can see like it still has the scales on it. And it still kind of has the shape of the snake, but the snake is no longer in it. And this is exactly what's happening with the earth. So she's like, I'm done. I'm done with this part of my consciousness and existence. I'm ready to step up. I'm ready for something better, something more. And I want to be more of who I truly am. Just like we do when we go through our awakening and we're like diving in and doing all of this, you know, inner work. And whether that's breath work or inner child work or past life work or whatever it may be, it's like, okay, I'm shedding layers of myself that don't honor the true me anymore. And that's what the earth is doing. So this is what the shedding looks like. And she's done this over and over and over again. So there's even other like, you know, sheddings of this earth here. And what it's doing is people will still exist on all of these parts of the earth. And they're going to go through their own conscious evolution here. We're going to talk more about that in a minute. But the earth is coming into more of who it truly is, just like we are. So kind of the same process we go through is the same thing she goes through. Now my guides are telling me she works really closely with the sun. They're like besties. They're like best friends, the earth and the sun. And the sun is feeding it energy and like heat to help her do this and shed her skin. So that's what a lot of these solar flares are for. They were showing me the Earth in space, and she's got like this orange ring around her and this orange glow, like this lava almost. And I could feel the sun just like bursting, like gathering all of its energy around her to help her push out of this skin and shed it, aka consciousness. So this is a level of consciousness that she's shedding, and she's stepping into a higher one. Again, that doesn't mean like, it's like 40 to 5D to 60. Those are dimensions. We're shedding layers. So it might be like, okay, we're in 5D, but we're shedding another layer so we can even be more deeper in 5D and understand it more and operate even more from that consciousness. And that's what Earth is doing. I think she's like, she's sick of it. She's like, I'm ready to get there. So things are moving more rapidly. Her energy felt like this like sassy boss bitch where she was like, nuh-uh, I'm not taking this anymore. I'm doing this. You coming with me or not? It's kind of like the parents who tell their kid who just graduated high school, like, hey, we're moving to warmer weather. You can come with us or you can stay here. And the kid has to like make a choice. So that's what Earth is doing. Mother Earth is like, I'm ready to do me. Are you going to do you? Let's see. So let's explain this a little further. Okay. I just get my paper. Okay. So again, here we have Earth. She's nice and solid. Okay. And she has these shed layers. So this might be her most recent layer that she shed. And then maybe there's another one over here and then other ones. Okay. So basically what these are hollow. That's what I was being shown, just like the snake skin is. But true Earth, we have new Earth that we're going to, but it feels like it's actually true Earth. That feels like a better term. We're moving to true Earth. Just like we're moving to the truer version of ourselves. Not a new version, the truer version. And people are going to go with Earth here. So let me just draw little figures if I can. They're not going to be that great looking. Okay? So people are going to go with her. And what's going to happen is we're going to decide, we're going to reach this choice of when things get more intense, am I going to anchor more deeply into who I truly am and honor that? When I hate my job and it's getting worse and worse and I don't think I can stay there anymore, am I going to honor myself and what I'm being called to do? Or am I going to just try and stay at that job because I'm scared and I don't know what else to do or what's going to happen if I leave or I find another one or whatever? It's like we need to anchor more deeply into our true self and our trust. So we're at that choice point. Do I leave this job? What do I do about this job? You're getting like pings about a relationship that isn't working. You're not able to be your true self in it. Well, you're reaching a choice point. What is it that you need to do so that you can anchor more truly into yourself? Maybe there's a pattern that keeps coming up. You're getting triggered by the same types of things. There's something to heal there. Am I going to not look at it and just ignore it and hope it just gets better on its own? Or am I finally going to dive in and put the work in and anchor more deeply into who I truly am? The Earth is doing this work for herself and she's asking the same of us. So when she sheds, we're also reaching these choice points. And she's saying, if you want to come with me, then anchor into the true version of you, which then anchors into the true version of Earth. And when she sheds, you don't go with it. You stay here, anchored into the Earth. Its truer version. Now, some people will make the choice of, no, maybe I need a little more time with this. Maybe I haven't decided yet if this feels right for me. So this creates like a bridge. So these versions of Earth are hollow. There's nothing in the middle of them. And that means that there's only a certain amount of time that you may have because you're going to be in a constant choice point here. The universe is going to keep sending you the same thing happening over and over again. It's going to get more and more intense. Or you may just be like, man, I just feel like empty. I feel hollow. I feel there's something more there. I want to seek out what that is. It's not necessarily like I'm going through a bunch of devastation or really intense, difficult things. It might just be a wondering. I feel like there's something more. And there is. There's more truth of you to discover. So these become places to kind of like just go through it a little bit. But it's hollow, so there's not a lot of resource in there. So this version of the earth isn't going to last or be able to, like, I guess, feed people very long. So they'll go through like this conscious wondering, I guess. And what they're saying is that as we step into the truer version of us, it's like this energy really starts getting admitted, like bigger and bigger and bigger. And this was part of that orange energy too. It's like pushing it out around the earth so that it like reaches these other shed versions of earth. And it can like hit people's consciousness and they can feel it. And they'll be like, there's something more here. I kind of feel something happening in me. And they might want to go out in nature and tune in with it. They might like get an idea and be like, I should follow this. This feels like the right thing for me to do. And they're going to start to feel into this energy. And it'll be like, oh, you know, this relationship that I'm in is not working, even though I've been in it for 20 years. Something has to shift here. I'm going to make a choice that's in alignment with the truest version of me and anchor into that. And Mother Earth is like, hell yes. Hell yes, they're getting it now. And then these planets, these other like shed versions of the planet, become like lily pads as people then climb the bridge, jump to each lily pad of consciousness, and eventually get to the true Earth, which is the truer version of themselves. I hope this makes sense. So it's like these people here on this like more hollow kind of like shed snakeskin earth can start channeling and receiving the energy from here to help them raise up in their consciousness and ascend. Okay, it's falling apart here. Let me fix it. So I hope that makes sense. And it feels like the earth is getting ready to do this again. It feels like we kind of just had one in September, one of these sheddings, which is always like a shift, a choice point, all that kind of stuff. And it feels like we're hitting another one. And it feels like this is going to happen more rapidly. And it's going to happen more rapidly for people who are also awakening. Because, like I said, I think the earth is just ready. It's just time. The solar flares are speeding up. And that's a sign that it's like, wow, things are just going to start moving a lot faster. So, like I said, these like hollow, like skin versions of earth. I know that sounds disgusting, but it's really not. It's just energetic. I just want you to think of it in forms of, this isn't like a physical thing. This is consciousness. Just like when we go through an awakening, we're shedding consciousness. We're not actually seeing like a carcass of ourselves, falling off. It's the same thing with the earth here and the people inhabiting it. It's not like, oh, they're like living on a dead carcass. That's not what it is. And the same with, the snake. It's like, it's just shedding a skin and then the snake continues to live. But I just want you to think of this in terms of energy, of consciousness. It's shedding a layer of consciousness so it can come into the deeper version of itself. So some people need to stay in that version of consciousness in order to have some sort of like pathway unfold a little bit more before it can jump into higher consciousness. So there's many, many layers to it. It's not just like 4D, 5D, 6D. It's just, there's like layers and nuances within all of this. And you might even call some of these versions of Earth timelines. So some people maybe want to stay on these timelines and shed more themselves before they get to the truer version of Earth. But again, there's only so much resource available because this is hollow. It's going to start to feel more empty for them, which will kick them into an awakening, into higher consciousness. So it's like these versions of Earth can't last fully. People are going to have to make a choice eventually on these like shed versions of Earth in order to step up because it can't last. There's not a lot of resource in there. It's not solid. Just like these old versions of ourselves, they're not solid anymore. They can't last when we're waking up and this energy is coming in. We want to anchor into the solid version of who we are, that strength, that power, that in that conscious, like solid consciousness, I guess. And the solidness of this really helps to, it like replenishes us because we can come back to that place. So we can like refine ourselves. We can pull more from the truer version of us. The more we dip into it, the more we dip into the solidity of who we are. You know what I mean? It's like the more we can like feed ourselves from that place. So that's all we're learning to do. That's what Earth is learning to do. I'm becoming and honoring the truest version of me. The true you, the true Earth. That's what we're moving to. So this is kind of like Earth's soul mission of like, I'm going to start moving more rapidly. I'm shedding these versions of me and I'm making people make a choice of whether they want to come with me or not. So in order to emit this energy here for these hollow versions to kind of tune into and pull themselves up, we have to honor ourselves, which looks like our soul mission. You know, what are the ideas and the excitements that are coming through for me? How do I want to take steps to like put this into motion? And coming into the heart and seeing what the heart wants to tell you. And the more we can honor that, the bigger our energy gets, the more like we're able to help people tap into that energy for themselves and become their true self. And the more we do that, the more the Earth is like, yes, I love this. Let's shed another layer so we can get even truer with ourselves. So we do this by continuously honoring who we are and trusting that space and stepping forward in it and creating our life and this new Earth or this true Earth from that place. So they were also showing me that Earth itself right now has become like all eyes are on Earth. But we hear this term of like, we're in Earth school, that Earth is a school. Well, the funny thing is that this school is now becoming the teacher. And it's like Earth will become this place that all these beings for eons will turn to and like channel from to receive more and more information. The planet is going to hold the history and the memory of the ascension that we've been through. And people can connect with her and ask her questions and insights about how do I move through this, or show me about your history, so that they can learn from what we've learned. So the school is now becoming like this library of information. We're becoming the teacher. We hold the keys for the rest of the universe so that they can understand how this third dimensional consciousness operates, so that they can become privy of that operating system, of that consciousness, and learn to like kick it out of their own planet, of their own space that they inhabit. So Earth is going to become like this, I don't know, like almost like temple type of planet that people receive high energy from. So with that, in order to ascend, we obviously had to understand how the third dimensional consciousness operates. What does it want? It wants power. It wants control. It wants you to be beholden to it. And the only way we allow that energy to have control over us is by complying. We're being compliant to it. We're not using our own discernment and tuning in with our true self and asking ourselves, is this right? Does this feel right to me? It doesn't mean we're devoid of challenge by tuning in with our true self, but it does mean that the more we honor that, the more we're finding the purity of our soul, the more we raise our consciousness and the Earth's consciousness, and we become that teacher level. Like Earth is almost becoming an ascended master or something. So this consciousness cannot have a hold on us, cannot take from us unless we comply. It's a vampiric energy. And just like the old myths say, how funny to talk about as we approach Halloween, as the old myths say, a vampire can't enter your home or your space unless you invite it in. And it's the same thing with this consciousness. Now, the invite is not going to come through in this straightforward manner. They're going to do everything to get you to invite them in through manipulation, trying to mind control, brainwash, this, fear monger, and throw all this fear at you. They're going to do everything they can to make you feel desperate enough to say, yes, I comply. I'll do what you want. Yes, I'll go along with what you're saying. Oh no, that's right. And you get those see in cartoons where it's the black and white, spinny eyes. It's oh, and we do that. Okay, yes. So they have all these tactics to try and do it. We've seen it left, right, and center. A lot of us have probably been in these narcissistic relationships and see how they can twist things and manipulate things and trick us and all kinds of stuff to get us to do what they want. And this is why anchoring into our truest self is so important, and honoring that. And this also means that our intuition, which is online for us, we have to turn it on and really master it and let it become this just second nature for us. It's this well-oiled muscle that we have really built up. It's just like breathing, like seeing, like walking. That's how intuition needs to be. It just automatically happens. So that when we're really in tune with how our own intuition operates, how we receive things for our own personal self, because it's a little different for everybody. When we understand that and we practice this receiving and tuning in with that part of ourself, it'll become so strong. So that when we're in the middle of a grocery store, in the midst of a time of chaos, like COVID, and there's only one package of toilet paper left, and we're like, oh crap, what do I do? Everyone's grabbing for it. We don't go into this fear. We instead take a breath and tune in with ourselves and ask, okay, what do I do here? There's another way. And it can be shown to us. So this is why intuition is so important, so that we can discern between what is truly us and what is the third dimensional consciousness that's trying to trick or manipulate or betray us against ourselves. This is the most important key. We have to learn to step into this. It doesn't mean that you're becoming an intuitive reader. It just means you're in tune with it for yourself, for your life, for your ascension. So I want to help you with this. I am planning to start offering some events, classes, workshops, like a little club that we can start practicing doing activities and different exercises to help strengthen our intuition, to learn how we specifically receive it, how you can read for other people, how you can get into meditation and really get the most out of it and understand how you receive things. It's so important. So if you're interested in doing this, you can sign up at the link below to receive those notifications when I start opening these up in the next couple of months. I really want to help people do this so you can become sovereign and autonomous and masters of discernment through your intuition, so you can receive your own information and not have to rely on anyone else or people like me. You get to do it yourself. And you get to teach it to your family and your friends and your children so that they can become autonomous and powerful and sovereign as well. I'm tearing up saying this. It's so important. So you can find that link below. We are here to move out of this consciousness and to move more solidly into who we are, the solidness of us. We're moving to true earth, and we're moving to our true self. We're shedding the layers. It's not a new self. It's not a new earth. It's what it truly has always been. And then we become the great wisdom holders and teachers in the universe, and we get to share this with all of the other beings. And as they're watching now, they're learning as well. But it's this is this ascension process. School class is coming to an end. Class will no longer be in session, and instead we're going to be holding the class. We're going to say, let me show you what I've learned so that you can incorporate this into your own life. And this will take place on multi levels through these, teaching it to the people that may be on these old versions of Earth and pulling them up into the truer earth. And it will also be in a universal level where our energy and our consciousness is sharing it with the other planets who may not have been dragged through this third dimensional consciousness like we have, but they've been affected by it. And we get to teach them, oh, this is how it operates. This is how you can discern between yourself and them and what's true for you. Okay, my friends, I hope this made sense. We're really in incredible times, and there's nothing more important than stepping into the truest version of us and our intuition and our autonomy and our discernment. So again, if you would like to join and want to be notified when I open those things up, you can check the link below, and I hope to see you there. All right, I love you much, and I will talk to you soon.
Do you feel the light? Do you feel the light? Do you feel the light coming? Do you feel the light? Do you feel the light? Do you feel the light coming?